I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for happy hour. It's the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, and stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan, and we are deep into Old Forester. Augie and I sitting down with Bryan, the Old Forester rep, and just enjoying every last sip as we go through. We were talking about the ryes and different ryes and just the love of ryes. And up next, this is a rye from Old Forester. We're going to do that. It's something different, and Bryan's going to tell us all about it and so much more, getting deep into the stories and the science and everything behind the Old Forester brand and bourbons and fun. And here we go back into it on the Man Cave Happy Hour.
Do we want to jump ahead now to your rye, which is
let's
one of my favorite products?
Let's jump into our rye. So this is our first new mash bill that we've released since 1870.
All right, because everything else is 70,
72,
10,
72, 18, 10. 72% corn.
72.
So 18% rye, 10% barley.
10% barley.
All right, that's 70, 72.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
No, you're right. No,
Don't miss the hook.
Do you guys know? Do you guys know why we keep the 10% barley in the whiskey?
Don't know.
Has anybody done the science with you? Well, we'll do
No,
a little
yeah.
science
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
with Bryan
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Old Forester. So, barley reduces.
I have a master degree in science.
He's looking for the small batch. He's hunting for more.
Yeah.
That's on key.
Awesome. Once it's crushed down and ready to go and processed properly, barley releases something called an alpha amylase enzyme, and that alpha amylase enzyme is what creates the sugar that yeast feeds on. Without that, you have to introduce an artificial enzyme into your whiskey to create the sugars that the yeast feed on. So almost everybody, and I can't think of anybody that doesn't anymore, but almost everybody uses a minimum of 5% barley so that they don't have to introduce artificial enzymes for the yeast to feed on, because it can become tricky with those enzymes, turning or not producing the right.
I'm a
sweetness.
winemaker. I make wine, and we talk about those boosters.
I just see them in
I
there
avoid
going.
them. Like, I'd rather have a less than wine than put those in there.
Yeah,
Barney's in there going, renew. Sorry. there's a man who's seen Logan's run. All right.
So this is our first new mash bill since 1870. So 144 years or so when we started producing this.
All right. What's the monster mash here?
This is going to be 65, 25, 10.
Okay.
So 65% rye, 25% corn, 10% barley, making us keeping us a little bit on the low end of the rye mash bills. We're not going to be one of those high end or high ryes.
Yeah.
We're going to be a lower rye. We're going to keep that sweetness. We're going to keep all the rye profile and flavor notes that you really want to have in a rye, but we're going to balance it out with a nice sweetness in the mash bill. It's going to. Oh, here, please take your.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the
pours.
color. I'm looking at the color.
It's got a nice darkness to it.
It is dark. Yeah.
It's this is obviously not a small batch product. This is a large batch product.
Okay.
We do have releasing periodically. We've released a couple of single barrel strength rye picks, everyday barrel picks, or everyday barrel releases. We had 80, 90 cases come into Michigan last year, and we're hoping for a few more this year. But for the most part, our rye mash bill or our rye is just our rye. It's a really nice balance.
Yeah, this here is a product that I can vouch for, that I consume, and that my father consumes, and that this is
consume as quantities.
You were talking about like the only wrong way is the way you don't like it.
Sure. Right.
This again, 100 proof rye you can get away from yourself. Your night can change if you're drinking this the wrong way,
100%.
or too much. I love this with a light ginger ale, like a diet ginger ale. Like a light Verner's, prefer.
Now, see, I like, because rye has this really great, I keep coming back to the word peppery, but I think that's accurate, a really great peppery and a spice quality to it. I really like it with ginger beer. almost
I love a Kentucky Mule, but there's so many consistencies of ginger beer. They're so weird and so different.
It's true, and so I have one that I like, and I won't do a brand drop.
I have mine too.
So. Find the one that you like.
It's mine too.
Well, I don't.
Sure, yeah.
I don't like a hot ginger. I don't like. I like a bite, but I don't want a hot ginger.
No one gets a hot ginger unless you look for a hot ginger. You got to know which ones are actually hot, and which ones are not just sugar burn.
And if you grab the wrong product,
you're
not going to be happy
super
about
sugary.
It.
Yeah.
So I have my ginger beer, and I keep about a case in the cooler at all times because mules on the patio are fantastic. But this is really just a fantastic product, and it really captures that rye quality to it with the flavor profile, and then again the mixability. As with all of our lower marks, the mixability is just there.
And do not look down on this product because you can get it at Meijer or Kroger. No, the price point is great. It's
am I getting
delicious
bark in this? I'm getting
bark.
Yeah, it's just
probably.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I put this one on the nose and actually tasted, so you'll have to give me a second to hop back into it here. Oh, yeah, sure.
Letting the dogs out?
Woof. Yeah, I was getting like off the first couple of sniffs, I was like, what's that? It's a barky kind of thing.
No, just a little bit of, there's it's a nice floral. It's a nice kind of earthy flavor note right on the nose there.
So, and that's the thing. I'm very susceptible to the power of suggestion. So I wanted to say it before anybody else. So I wanted to sniff it and say it and try to get a couple of words before people say things because I'm very susceptible to the power of suggestion.
Well,
when it comes to this stuff, we have to be. We got to be told what we're smelling. We have day jobs that aren't
else
this.
Too.
Well,
our day job isn't this. So
we talk about this all the time.
I try, but then they're like, Mr. Flanagan, it's sixth period. You're a little drunk. I'm like, well, okay. It's movie day. Shut up.
Be quiet and watch Terminator.
Yes, Terminator, yeah.
Well, listen.
It's a history movie.
Graduated from CC, so
yeah. 12 years Catholic school, too. Cheers, brother.
12
years hard time.
8 years of Catholic school. But,
there we go.
There we go.
8 years Catholic school.
It's the last week of the semester was just sit and wait for the clock to tick. Anyway, but no, the thing with you mentioned being powerful, susceptible to the power of suggestion.
Yeah.
That's really true of everybody, and I've discovered this the more and more I've done larger in-person events. I always used to be I'm not going to lead you. I'm not going to tell you where to go. I'm not going to try to guide you on this journey. I'm going to let you experience this journey for yourself. I have now come around to this idea that I've spent the better part of 10 years now training myself through different tricks of the trade, oils and smellings and education and brand knowledge and immersion into different whiskeys. And it's kind of stupid for me to keep that information to myself.
That's what you're there for. That's what you're here. That's why you're here.
I want people to experience it, but I want them to know that they're right. So a lot of times people will be hesitant, and I listen. I love people who speak in descriptors, and I find this is more true with women than men. I was doing it. I'll tell this quick story. I was doing a tasting with a women's group. This is probably about 4 years ago or so, and they were and most of them were very knowledgeable bourbon consumers. They were whiskey consumers. They were very knowledgeable, and they were boom, and here's this, and here's this, and here's this. I'm going, yes, you're right, and this and that.
Perfect. That's your wheelhouse.
Having a great conversation. And but this woman in the corner, she pipes up, and she goes, "God, this just smells like my grandma's purse." I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Werther's Originals and
100%
leather?
It was Werther's Original and leather. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, well, my grandma used to carry these candies in her purse. And I'm like, Werther's you're smelling butterscotch, caramel, and leather. That's what you're smelling. And every one of those things is right. But what your descriptor was so much more friendly and inviting than butterscotch, caramel, and leather. The inside of Grandma's purse is so much more of an enjoyable way to describe your whiskey.
There was the owner of a spirits company that said, the last time I did a podcast with you, said we're shooting for Werther's Original. That's all we want our spirit to taste like.
Sure,
that was
like.
It.
All right, that's a the thing. And the bottle's sitting over there. We can let you try it on the way out. But it's and they nailed it.
Yeah. But those people.
But it's the full note. It's the full goal, not just a note you catch.
Yeah, no.
Amongst other things,
you look at any of these whiskeys, and we've done At Woodford Reserve, they've done the science, and there's about 212 different profiles, different notes available for discovery in the Woodford Reserve. Now, if you can name all 212 of them, you are a way better man than any person.
And you start talking about them, you probably lose a consumer. You start talking about it, just.
But what's fun about that is I can open a conversation
fun. Sure,
with.
it's fun. Yeah.
I can open a conversation with. There's 212 notes. Nothing you find is wrong.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah, right.
Coffee, yep, it's there.
Yeah.
Cocoa beans, yep, there. Sure. Butterscotch, sure, there. Leather, earth, all there.
So I'm getting like
cousin Phil's in. He's going Thursday.
Go cousin Phil
before work. Yay.
So I'm getting in this rye. I'm getting a candy, but it's I want to say juicy fruit, but it's not juicy fruit. It's like juicy fruit's cousin.
Yeah, it's the cinnamon version of it.
Yeah, it's can. There's a little bit of candy.
The cinnamon version of juicy fruit isn't juicy
Big
fruit.
Red.
That's Big Red.
Thank you. I couldn't come up with Big Red to save my life.
No,
you started talking about Beekmans and everything else.
No, I'm not. It's not cinnamony, but it's just slightly.
See, I get a lot of cinnamon.
It's slightly off from. I'm getting that barky thing where the first time I smell it, and then. It's candy, but it's something candy.
So, Jamie, you're doing the host's biggest mistake.
Plus,
you double poured that.
Wow.
Yeah, you double poured
that.
Not
just
that
doubled.
one.
I did. I haven't even
That's
sipped
a full pour.
I haven't even sipped this one yet.
I mean, we're not quite to the label on the Glencairn, but we got close.
Yeah, we got close.
and we're only 6 of the 7 in. So.
Well, that's my fault. I jumped to my favorite. I really wanted
you
that
distracted
rye.
me. It's fine.
Well, rye came up. And we were talking about rye whiskey, and this is like
there's
I said,
green. There's green on the taste.
It's a fave. So.
There's green on the taste. There's something fresh.
Lots of earth.
Yeah. There's freshy, greeny.
I truly enjoy this rye.
Are we over time, or can we keep drinking?
Oh, we're
keep drinking. All right. Let's continue, sir.
Well,
let's get back on track, back on the right track.
Onward and backwards, as the case may be here. So we're going to slip into our 86 proof here. And again, this is the beautiful thing about this bottle is its consistency.
This is a consistent bottle that I've owned and that I'm a fan of.
If you have a back bar and you like bourbon spirits, I don't care if you're talking about mules or if you're talking about more complex things like Kentucky Bucks,
even on my straight sipping.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking. But this is everybody's. This should be everybody's do everything bourbon. Mm-hmm. You can sip it. You can put it on rocks. You can make it, put it in a cocktail, and it is overall outstanding from beginning to end. But it's outstanding from beginning to end at a $20 price point.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's.
Now I remember when the Old Forester label was considered like, that's some weird, strange stuff. Like when my dad was, buying, go to the liquor store when there weren't a lot of options. Old Forester was on the shelf.
Sure.
But none of these were on the shelf. It was just that, and it was like, what is that stuff?
Well, and it was on the bottom, and it was dusty. And
it was dusty on the bottom,
and it was sitting next to Weller.
It was
because we were at the same price point for most of our lives,
and nobody ever wanted him.
And nobody wanted them.
And now
nobody wanted them.
And now the secret's gotten out.
Yeah.
And Weller moved their price up. They doubled the price of their OSR.
At least.
And they've created a marketplace for theirs. And again, this is the difference to me, and the just the credibility of the Brown family, and why I love going to work every day, working for this group of people, is that the Brown family truly wants their product drank. Could we charge $40 for this bottle and not have any guilty conscience about it?
Sure.
Yes, we could. Absolutely, all day long.
Yeah.
We could do that, and we would double our profits on the bottle or more, and we would sell exactly as many bottles as we do today. But our whiskey is available to everybody. It's available at an affordable price. And it's just one of the things I respect about the family so much is that they're really making their whiskey available to anybody who wants to drink their whiskey.
Well, jumping back to the 86 after going from the 1920 and then doing the rye, sweet.
Yes.
It's very very
now
sweet.
You're back into bourbon. You're
very,
back
very,
into what we think of when we think of bourbon.
Yes.
Butterscotch, caramel, vanilla, light cinnamon, little bit of pepper, a little bit of spice, but all those big sticky sweet notes are right back on your palate now.
Yeah. I wouldn't even go so far as sticky sweet. It's just
sweetness.
Sweet. It's
just sweetness.
Sweet. It's just,
and you can notice
sweet.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, we're quoting King Bee's songs.
Well, it'll
That's
happen.
actually Jack Harlow, but okay.
Oh, fair fun.
And if you go back, and it's interesting because we just did like 100 to 86 variations, so just a 14 proof. Coming back, it's like, whoa, that's really thin on the palate. But then when you do the swirl and watch, I mean, even with this large batch,
You saw me doing that. I was
still
like
got
swirling. I'm
legs.
like,
I think the legs are stronger.
There's a little
than
bit of
the-
viscosity on this one.
I
even
think the
though it
legs
had a
on this
lighter
are
taste.
stronger than the rye.
There's a lot of balance, a lot of nose, a lot of oil, a lot of all those characteristics. But the flavor profile on the tongue is just, it feels almost light.
With this oiling, it'll hold up in a mix.
Yes, absolutely. Viscosity matters. Viscosity is how you create cocktails. We have
Cocktails and motor oil. That's where you hear the word viscosity.
That's it.
That's it.
We have a gin in our portfolio that prides itself on being 90 proof with the highest viscosity that you can create in a gin because it stands up to all cocktails. It's a cocktail maker's gin. This is along the same idea that if you have
Another
something,
podcast. We have a gin. They got to do a gin one now.
let's do a gin cocktail.
We got to do
podcast.
the whole
I'll bring
Scotch.
in-
We do the Scotch 3-sip rule crap. We got to do all kinds of stuff.
Right,
Scotch
right.
3-sip rule really
Seriously.
only applies to. Well, it applies to all of them. It really only applies to peated whiskey.
Another 40 minutes somewhere else. Another time.
Listen.
You want to? You book the next
No,
couple
we're
weeks?
good, man.
I'm
I've-
truly,
next couple
truly,
weeks?
truly not. Let's.
Okay.
I'm pounding on the table for emphasis. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But
In.
Scotch gin cocktail night. I'll bring all the mixers. We'll just make some fun cocktails. We'll make some fun
Sure.
gin cocktails.
We know a couple. We know some bartenders. But
Would you imagine?
I have
Yeah.
no. We bring a
That sounds
bartender
like
to
that
mix
would
it up.
sound like an outside the studio type.
Yeah,
should
we
do
could
that
do
at
it
a-
in a
we should-
bar.
yeah, do that in a
or
bar.
on a like a home bar somewhere.
Yeah, just a bigger space.
I don't know. I love the background noises of tables of
I
forks
love
clicking on plates. And,
yeah.
The
The
ambient
glasses
noise is great
clinking
for a podcast.
together and
We've done a few at Whiskey in the Jar and Hamtramck, and they've come out.
Good times.
The ambient noise of a dive bar
Mm-hmm.
is pretty great.
It's fantastic.
Here's
Fights
side,
and-
side,
The
side by
occasional
swearing.
F-bomb dropping off as they're
Yes.
escorted out of the front door. No,
Hey,
it's good
we're
times.
not regulated by
Sidebar. I
Communications.
just the wedding. Because I DJ weddings and parties and stuff
Fun
like that. The wedding I did this weekend. The kids they live like 2-3 doors down from Whiskey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
but they're not
wonderful.
regulars. They're not regulars.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's
they're
their fault.
young though.
That's their fault.
They're young, but they came into like a Johnny Thunders song. I'm like, you're so whiskey people. You know?
We're talking about
Why don't
Whiskey
you
in the
go to
Jar
that-
and Hamtramck.
Why don't
the
you go to
little
that place? Anyway, sorry. it
crap
was
hole that I
total-
worked at for 15 years.
Total. It is. It's
Our Magnum PI party's coming up.
Yes.
I forgot to plug that because that's one of the reasons I come on this podcast. It'll be the 9th one, Magnum PI party.
So
Big
I'd have to
fundraiser.
shave most of the beard to have.
All
The
you
only
gotta
reason
do.
I have facial hair right now is because I'm getting
you're getting ready for
I'm
your
getting
Magnum
ready for
PI
the, it's
party?
all
August
you gotta
20th.
do is wear some really tight khaki shorts, and you are in.
Hawaiian
and a
shirt.
Detroit Tigers hat.
And
And
a
a
tiger
Hawaiian
hat.
shirt and a tiger
It's the
hat.
easiest costume you can have.
It
right?
truly is.
It is.
It is a tiger's hat,
I'm
a
like
Hawaiian shirt.
I'd be like retired Magnum
And
PI
tight,
with a full
yes,
Well,
and tight shorts.
You can just trim it down low. Sometimes it's good to
beard. I
refresh.
don't know if I could.
Refresh
I think
it.
my wife might actually fight me
Okay.
in
well,
my sleep.
I mean,
when
if you
she's
have
not.
kids, they'd be scared of you.
They're old enough now. They've seen me shave it down a couple times.
Okay.
There was once where, well, that's a different story.
Anyway.
It's fine.
But it is a fundraiser for Kirk Gibson's Parkinson's Foundation and the Hero Foundation. They're splitting the money this year
Okay.
because Mikey lost his dad to Parkinson's recently at age
yes.
89. So, but hey, it's a great event. It's at a dive bar in Hamtramck, and we have shirts and we sell the mustaches for $5 a piece if you don't have one. We raised a couple grand, like $2-3 grand on
yeah.
$5 raffle tickets.
Yep.
And
That's awesome.
People
It's a nice night.
Our friends in the liquor distribution world take care of us and give us things to put in baskets.
We make
Just
baskets.
saying. They give us swag and stuff and glasses and things like that we build up, and we don't do any booze in it. All eyes blinking.
Yeah. Blink,
But
blink twice if you're in trouble.
But we have
twice
great
if you need
things like we have chefs that give us a lot of chef tables we get from
Yeah,
different
yeah,
restaurants in Detroit
yeah.
that take care
That's
of us.
awesome.
And that's amazing. That's a really great thing. Like the Elephant Room always takes care of us. Blake's Hard Cider is the presenting sponsor.
Good
But
people up at Blake's.
yeah, they're wonderful. They come here and they've been good with us here. So we do not have a liquor sponsor yet.
No. Hey, you never know.
It was,
Never know.
it was Bacardi last time, but we're open.
Never know what happens.
Saying.
You're intentionally avoiding eye contact. It's weird.
But
It's uncomfortable.
no, it shouldn't be. But no. But we.
No, absolutely.
But at a Hawaii themed party, it's a different
That's good.
spirit.
Yeah, we
I
don't
got a
really
wedding-
have
I got a-
a we
I got a
really don't
wedding
have
in
a rum or a.
Yeah, if you represent a rum, we could tag in. But the
Just-
Bacardi people have been good to us. It's going to end up being Bacardi again.
I would
But,
imagine they are a good group of folks.
But we would love to have some of these glasses in
So-
our baskets to
so,
represent.
yeah.
We're happy to represent. I don't know. We'll discuss
So-
things like next week sometime.
All right, so Brian, there's so you got the Old Forester 100 proof, and you have the 1897 bottled and bond,
Sure.
which would be
100 proof.
100 proof. What's the difference? You're just confusing me, man.
Well, what I like to do is make things as complicated
That's
as
because
possible.
you've been drinking, Jamie. It's only because you've been drinking.
Listen, I waited until this late to spring it on you, hoping you weren't going to notice.
All right, fair play.
No, so
It's because of the screw top.
it is because of the screw top.
Oh, fair play.
The cork matters. Screw top matters. It doesn't matter at all.
No.
What we're dealing with here is I mentioned the phrase small batch earlier when talking about our Whiskey Row series.
Okay.
That's the 1870, 1897.
Do you call these the
1920.
Whiskey World Series?
This is the Whiskey Row series.
Row series.
Whiskey Row.
I thought it
Row.
was like
So
Whiskey
we-
World Series. I go, I
we-
like that.
We refer to Main Street in downtown Louisville as Whiskey Row.
Okay.
You've got us, you've got Evan Williams, you've got 2 or 3 others right along the row there. And we are kind of the originators of the Bourbon Trail. We're some of the first truly established whiskeys.
I'm
in
sure they
Louisville.
all get together and fist fight and Twitter battle over this
they-
stuff.
No. we go Anchorman style. We've got pitchforks and grenades.
Right.
It escalates
I like
quickly.
that.
Forget about
It escales quickly.
CBC.
Things get
don't
out of hand
forget
fast.
about Heaven Hill.
That's it. That's
We're here too.
That's it.
Spanish language channel.
I was trying to think who the public television of the whiskey world would be. I can't think of who it might be. Anyway,
right.
but no, we so
Three
we
brothers. Yeah.
we call
Yeah,
it
those Tennessee guys.
it probably is the Tennessee guy.
Big rep and big old beards. Yeah.
But we have we would refer to generally as Whiskey Row, that Main Street
right.
start of Louisville that actually starts with us. We are the first ones at 115 now North Main Street. So the story we haven't told is that about 8 years-ish ago, Campbell Brown became the president of Old Forester and decided to move us back home and put us back on Main Street. So he was actually able to buy his great-great-great-granddad's old property of 117 North Main Street and its adjacent building of 115 North Main Street. So 115 and 117 became us because of the way that Kentucky of Louisville works when creating addresses. It is we take the lower address, not the higher address. So we are now 115 North Main Street, even though we occupy what was once 15 and 117 North Main Street.
Yeah.
So we are actually in our old property. There's some really cool pictures hanging up around the
Nice.
facility
brilliant.
of George and Owsley and Dr. Forrester hanging out in the office buildings that we completely restored back to their 1870, 1880 look and feel. So it's really, really very cool. We have a lot of history within our distillery, and we are the only distillery that I know of that actually has a mini cooperage built into our distillery as
Oh.
well. One of the things I didn't talk about tonight that I'm going to talk about real quick, and then you guys can cut me off and we'll move on to the Forster
dude.
100.
We're here to hear you talk.
That's it. And I'm chopping.
wants to
at
hear
this
me
point,
talk.
I'm
He's
chopping
got-
us into 2 already.
He's
so
got
we're
the
good.
DJ voice, and I'm just here to talk.
No, you got some nice pipes. Rub your
So-
chest and see you got nice pipes.
Some
All
some
right, fair
menthol.
play.
Yeah, there we go. So we have so Brown Forman is the only major supplier that owns their own cooperage. We own our own cooperages. We own 2 of them, in fact. We have one just outside of Atlanta, and we have one in Louisville, Kentucky. This means that for us, what does this mean to our consumer? What does this mean for us? For our consumer, it means that we control everything from grain to glass.
Literally everything.
Literally
yes.
everything.
Not everybody. A lot of people say that, but not everybody does.
But we actually control it, and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have employed science. We have and Brown Forman, for those who are not familiar, is an incredibly eco-aware company. Our Finlandia vodka, which is a small vodka in the United
So it's
States.
not from Finland, it's from Louisville?
No, very far. So our Finlandia vodka is a 3 million case a year vodka. It's not huge here, but it's huge the rest of the world. Is part of the 1% for the Planet coalition. Our Slain Irish whiskey, which you mentioned, you're kind of out on Irish whiskeys. This is a triple casked Irish whiskey.
I ain't afraid of Finlandia, I'll tell you that. I've
I'm-
had plenty of a Finlandia.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
convert you on the
We
Slain.
had some slain on the. I think it's.
All right.
We got a bar card here in the man cave suite of the studios.
Scotch lesson
I like
where we
the
have to
Slain.
be in a bigger
'Cause they got
space. I want in on that. tag me in on that podcast too.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about the Slain whiskey.
The Slain Irish whiskey is beautiful. It's a triple cask.
Yes.
But we are down to 3% carbon footprint. We only 3% of our usage is not reduced, reused, or recycled back into the world. We are very eco-conscious. We're very eco-friendly. We're very eco-aware. We have a team of ecologists who go out into the woods and the properties that we own to pull down the white oaks to make sure the canopy is not going to be disrupted, to make sure that we're going to continue to be able to grow trees there, to make sure we're not damaging the environment, to make sure we're not damaging homesteads, to make sure we're not changing to migration patterns, any of those things.
There's no costs involved in any of that, is there?
It's just it's free.
It's the right thing to do.
It's also protecting the integrity of your product
brilliant.
and the water and everything that you use.
Well, exactly. So if we were to
just wipe our butts
flow,
with the planet and throw it away,
yeah, you change the water flow, the acidity of the water, the quality of the barrels that you're charring, all that stuff.
And
I love that you guys are doing that.
So we have our own cooperages, and I'll tell everybody's seen a distillery tour. If you're listening to this, you've probably been on at least one distillery tour in your life. You've been on every distillery tour in your life. I mean, we've seen one distillery tour to varying degrees. Yeah. It's a pot still, or it's a column still, or it's whatever. You've been on every distillery tour.
Does it count the one in my garage or no?
Probably.
Okay. It's a column.
It's the same thing. It's heat. It's alcohol evaporating faster than water. It's coming down in a copper pipe. It's hitting the thing and creating
Sheriff,
alcohol.
I'm kidding, Sheriff.
I see. Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Nothing.
But the really cool thing about our cooperages is watching the coopers create. This is a true art form.
Yeah.
These guys. So there's two things that happen. Number one, you walk into the cooperage and you start seeing. It doesn't matter, but you walk into the cooperage, you start seeing the coopers repairing barrels. So these are things that had problems at the line, and maybe it's 5% of the barrels that come through, and that number is important to think about for just a second. 5% of the barrels come to the coopers for repair or reseal.
Okay.
Now, when you're making a bourbon barrel, here are the things that you cannot have. Anything. You can have wood, and you can have steel outside. That's it.
Yeah.
No wax, no honey, no nothing, no nails, no nothing driving through the wood.
There is a no wax rule.
There isn't.
I used to think you were allowed beeswax or something. There was like
nothing.
I'm big into waxing myself.
Well, only on the chest.
That's different.
Jamie's been drinking. Jamie's been drinking.
All right.
So, but you're not.
You can tell.
He's oversharing.
It'll happen. But when you're watching these coopers go through this process of pulling these barrels apart, finding the staves, resealing them, repopping the rings on, all that stuff, it's fascinating. And then you go around the corner and you actually watch the coopers raise a barrel. You don't build barrels, you raise barrels. You're watching the coopers raise a barrel, and at the beginning of the door when you walk in, there's a clock. And it's how long those coopers have been on shift. There's two of them working in the back, and how many barrels they've raised. By the end of an 8-hour shift, those two coopers will have raised 350 barrels or more.
Jiminy crickets.
No one's used that phrase since 1981.
Probably 83, but fine.
I'm going back 100.
I am going to grab a sniff of my favorite one that I've had today.
Oh, please. Yes, the 1910.
We haven't done this one yet. The 100.
We haven't?
We haven't done the 100 yet.
We haven't done the 100 yet.
I have personally had it.
Yep.
So you're going back to the 1910.
Going back to the one that like.
Bailing on
this is going to be the last of mine. Well,
fair play.
Damn it! All right, I'll play the game.
No. Jump the line. It's fine.
I thought I was gonna,
just jump the broom. Go ahead.
I thought we were done. I thought I was gonna toast this out.
Listen, I'm not gonna stop talking for a while. I apologize.
No.
So we have these coopers, and these coopers are creating our product, and it's allowing us to control from the beginning to the end of what we do. We are all the way in control of our product, and we're one of the few companies who can truly say that. Now, anybody can send a barrel back that doesn't meet their qualifications or specifications or what have you. Anybody can regulate their time and their consistency and all of those things to their chars, and people will love to talk about the dragon scale or what's your rating or what's your whatever. We use time. We don't use any kind of
dragon
weird
scale,
rating.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people,
I know.
Everybody's got different.
They got to come up with,
What's
something to separate, right?
Right.
You got to come for a reason to.
Oh, is
rank.
that what the dragon scale is?
Yeah, it's just a reason.
Now it just dawned on me. All right, fair play.
So we don't use.
I'm 12.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're good.
So we don't use any of that stuff. We use, honest to God, time. We just it's time. We're toasting for this long. We're charring for this long.
Right.
Well,
and then that's
what master distillers and all these guys are for, right?
Exactly.
These people, they
have
are the scientists. They know what they're doing and what it's supposed to taste like after so much time, and they get it right, and then they blend it, which you're allowed to do that in some cases here, to make it taste the same consistently.
You can blend anything.
Yeah, you can blend anything.
Because our mash bill doesn't change.
Right.
So we're just picking barrels from different places.
Right. So that's how you get consistent taste, consistent flavor, and that's how you build loyalty. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're working for. And that's why you have professional drinkers who do this. And that's what they are.
Yeah.
They're professional, whiskey tasters.
Nosologists.
What are they called? There's a name for that?
Nosologists.
Alcoholic?
Blenders.
No.
Blenders.
I'm sorry. No, we have
the blenders.
That's
master
Matt.
blenders.
He's not here.
So you but here's a big the big
Master
news at
blenders.
Old Forester. Your master blender left you guys, and she was like a rock
Master
star.
taster.
She was a master taster.
Master taster, yeah.
Fair
Jackie
play.
Zykan, yeah.
Yeah.
Different than what you are.
So she was. I'm a master blaster.
No, okay. That's
All right,
no
fair
different.
play.
No, Jackie left us. She went on to a new project.
Yeah.
I believe her last day was January 1st.
Yeah. So how does that impact Old Forester? You got to find a new rock star, right?
I mean, ideally, in a perfect world, it's a 150-year-old company.
Yeah.
And I love Jackie, and I loved listening to her speak.
She ain't the first rock star. She ain't gonna be the last one.
I don't mean. I mean that's in zero disrespect. She's incredible.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to be.
Cousin Phil was at the Kentucky Derby with her.
Yeah. She was the best.
She still is the best. And I'm not. We're not writing an obituary.
No.
But she's.
But I mean, the impact on the company is like. You need, it's.
We've got some incredible people.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about our master distiller Chris Morris, 40 years in the industry.
Yeah.
The master distiller for Woodford Reserve, Cooper's Craft, Old Forester, at one time Early Times. And by the way, if you're ever looking for a $25 bottle that's going to knock your socks off, try the Early Times bottled and bond.
Really?
You will never recover.
Can we get that here? Well,
Yes.
never recovering is not what I want to hear.
No, I'm just saying
from the spirit that I'm enjoying.
You will forever be mad about spending more than $30 on a bottle of whiskey.
Well, I'm already at that level. I am at the $30 to $40. That's why I tout your rye. I enjoy it. So,
Early Times bottled and bond.
Okay.
It's a light blue label. It says Early Times on it. Old script.
all right.
It's
Early Times.
but you're not going to get those. You're not going to get those people who transcend a business. Everybody is different. There was a young woman who, this is tantamount to the point. There was a woman who was the first master distiller at Castle and Key, and she's moved on to other brands since then. It wasn't a fit for her for whatever reason, and I think her products are great. I think she's an incredible master distiller, but it's not. She's not the lifeblood of the. Nobody is the lifeblood of the business, and you get.
I hate to use the cliche, but everybody's replaceable.
And I don't want anybody.
Life is going to go on,
but I don't want anybody to think they're replaceable.
No, you never do.
We value every person that comes through, and everybody contributes to the story. Without Jackie's,
and the story continues.
Without Jackie's icon, we
flavor.
don't have 1910 and 1920. That's
reality,
reality, right?
So
my crush on her just got a little deeper.
Maybe the next person may make another thumbprint.
And the next thumbprint
comes.
So you think about
everybody's got their thumbprint.
It's very easy to think
there
about.
Could be a 2022.
Yeah.
Think about Jack Daniels as a for instance. When Jeff Arnett left.
I try not to think about Jack
Daniels.
I don't think about those college headaches. I don't think about those bathrooms.
If they take the headphones off, it's going to be a problem. But you think about when Jeff Arnett left.
Are you going to ear slap me?
No. I was adjusting my glasses and I took my headphones off.
Right. He got a little aggressive there. No, but Jeff Arnett left during COVID, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, what's going to happen?"
Yeah.
Jeff is the one who took us from Old Number 7 and Gentleman Jack to single barrel and single barrel rye and single barrel proof.
Fair enough. Okay.
And he created Jack Daniels as a premium whiskey.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Jeff Arnett left. Oh my gosh. Well, Chris Fletcher's come on.
Yeah.
Chris Fletcher is the first ever second generation master distiller of Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
And he has created the triple mash and the bonded, and he has released the
That was my
10-year,
point.
and he
there is-
released the and not no one's saying, oh, who's Jeff
you're
Arnett?
blessed with the
they're
legacy.
saying-
You're blessed with the legacy,
Yeah.
and you are hopefully granted an outstanding new product in the future.
And nothing and nothing but
There's
the
no
best
limits on
of
that.
all the endeavors.
There's no limits
going
on
forward.
that. Yeah, everyone should be thrilled.
Everyone should
You're in
be-
a business that makes you happy.
Yeah,
Really.
When you step back and take a look at it, for God's sakes, we sell whiskey for a
It's,
living.
it's we're having fun and drinking
What-
whiskey.
How possibly mad can you be about somebody going someplace?
The only thing better would be to be paid to do this job.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Wait,
Hey.
And we are.
Cheers.
Sans Chava.
All right, so answer the damn question, Brian.
Sorry.
What's the difference between the 100 proof and the bottle and bond?
See what happens as I get sidetracked easily.
No,
the
no,
100
It's my fault.
No,
So,
no.
I talked
we
earlier
were
about
having fun.
I talked earlier about small batch, and small
Yeah.
batch means 99 barrels or less.
Okay.
Right.
Generally speaking, universally, that is our industry standard. Is a small batch is 99 barrels or less.
Mm-hmm.
Old Forester small batches are significantly less than that, but we'll call it 99 barrels or less. These are our 100 proof is a large batch bourbon.
Okay.
Meaning that we're going to be plus 200, generally speaking.
Sure, fair play.
On our 100 proof whiskey with our Old Forester 100 proof as opposed to our 1897. There's going to be it's not a standard because our standard is consistency, but we're able to take barrels that are lesser with barrels that are greater and blend them together because we're blending so many more together.
Sure.
We can take those barrels that, oh man, that just didn't age right, or oh, that tasted a little bit funky. We can drown that out with 25 barrels that are tasted fine. And because it's a large batch, we're able to manipulate that
Brian.
a little bit better.
That was extraordinarily honest and refreshing.
Well, that's like I said. I early on,
And just
I-
and I
I
could
have
say
no
that about
problem-
the bourbon too. Dude, I think I just fell in love with you.
I have no problem with a blended
no,
whiskey.
seriously,
'cause I
that-
want
that-
that consistency in my flavor.
That was like
Yeah.
see, in most industry, business, government, politics, people are
Hey.
not that honest. I
Hey, your
I-
vote
I-
counted.
I applaud
your vote
you.
counted. Okay.
I applaud you.
Well, and I think it's
I applaud that honesty.
I think transparency is
I love
important
that.
in the product, but
And-
again, but the thing
just-
is as I say that,
That's amazing.
grab a bottle of 100 proof from 5 years ago,
Right, right.
grab a bottle of 100 proof in 5 years, and they should taste the same.
So what's the profile difference between the Old Forester 100 proof and the Old Forester 1897?
I think there's a lot less sweetness to our Old Forester 100 proof versus the
because
1897.
honest to God, at this point we've pounded
we're at
seven
we're at
different.
palate fatigue.
Yeah.
We have and again,
if I could try to sip the two right now,
so
yeah.
if you get into the
We need to do a
generally
mini-sode
fifth-
on just the two.
sometimes fifth, sometimes sixth, but
Yeah.
by six you have achieved palate fatigue, and I don't care how much you drink.
Yeah.
You are everything's starting to come across the same on your palate. That's just reality of
When
of
we
liquor.
jump from the 100 back to the 86.
You noticed a dramatic difference.
yeah.
because
Yeah.
there was a dramatic difference.
But right
to be had.
now, and if I went from that 100 proof to that 100 proof,
You wouldn't know.
I would be at for the 7th and 8th taste.
Yeah.
It'd be difficult to come up with some horse shit to say. So.
Well, but I think generally speaking, the one thing that this one doesn't have is the sweetness. It lacks a little bit of the sweetness,
Okay.
a little bit of the butterscotch in the caramel, but
right.
I think it turns the volume up pleasantly on the cinnamon, on the pepper, on the chocolate, on the earth. I think all of those things are turned up on this one, and this is what makes it both a great sipping whiskey, but more importantly, it holds the cocktail.
You drink too much of that, you end up on the earth.
That's funny because I've purchased the 100 proof like 2 or 3 times. I'm a drunk. I brought that 2 or 3
you just
different
caught up
times
to that one, didn't you?
for a little bit. It just dawned on me because it came with like the little jar of old fashioned syrup.
Sure, yeah.
So the 100 proof, it was like, I was like, what am I gonna get? I wanted some, and it's like, this comes with the happy little.
Look, I think I see one of
there
those.
is. It's on the on the bar
over there
cart.
behind
over
Oh,
there.
what do you got right there? That's an Old Forester old fashioned syrup. What do you know?
But then-
Isn't it though?
But I did that, and I bought it because it swayed me to that to get it.
Well, and I'll tell you, and it's available. It's available at some grocery stores, but any liquor store can order it from Canada distributors. But the Old Forester old fashioned syrup uses Demamura rather than just using white sugar, simple syrup, compound, whatever. It is outstanding. outstanding old-fashioned syrup. Now,
That's nice.
I like to make my own. I like to have the grains of sugar in the bottom.
I do.
All of those things. But I love the Old Forester old-fashioned the Old Forester old-fashioned syrup.
So it's just it's a tiny little bottle.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes attached.
I think I should make myself a mini one, right?
You
I
could
think
probably.
I think it's a 2-ouncer, and I think you can make about 5. You can make about 4 or 5 cocktails out of that.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
I do that. I do that all the time at home. I got another. We have one in the studio here.
Make sure you put a couple of cubes on there for him. You don't want to be old fashioned without some cubes.
You guys aren't joining? If we cut this into 3 or 4 podcasts now.
I think we're close to 3.
Again, you asked a guy to come who talks for a living, and I apologize, guys.
No,
what do you apologize? We're going to cut the part of you apologizing out of the podcast. To be honest with you.
Totally reasonable.
It stands up. All right, so that the Old Forester 100 proof. Well, it's God, I don't even know what you're doing there, brother.
Yeah. Oh, there's a little seal on there.
Yeah,
All right,
it's an actual syrup.
All right, yeah.
Oh no, you need.
I'll do one
I need
too.
more.
You need like
I need more
2/3
than
of.
that.
You need like a third of an ounce. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's not bitters. I was treating it like bitters.
Right.
This
isn't a dash.
I used to be a bartender. You know, I
Nope,
treated it
wrong
like
thing.
like bartenders.
No, you need. I like a good half an ounce of that syrup, and then use the. Well, I always use the 86, but you guys, we've been drinking all day, so
The 80, not all day. Maybe Jamie has. I haven't. Well, you do it for a living. So
I do it for a living.
I
It
was
is what
at
it is.
City Hall all day, so I was not drinking.
Thank you, Congressman.
I was just complaining about my job.
But the Old Foresters are such. You need more than that. Just keep going.
I can't keep going. That's not-
That was less than an ounce.
well, you're gonna look. I know how
He's got to go meet. You're meeting people.
I have
Right?
to meet people. I have to meet a professional NFL football coach who's at a certain brewery right now that I happen to be
There's
friends
only
with.
one professional team in Detroit.
No, he's
I
not
think
from
you
Detroit.
give it-
He's not.
It's not ours.
No, not our team.
Well, but these are. But again, very simple, very easy. The syrup itself is easy. I again, when I have the time, when I have the effort, much like yourself, I'm sure you want to make the cocktail yourself. You want to drown your
absolutely.
sugar in some bitters, and you want to muddle and you want to stir
my
and all
God.
that stuff.
The bitters game is like crazy.
Oh, it is.
There's
It's out of hand. It's out of
There's
hand.
raspberry bitters.
Well, it's a menu item now.
Orange
It is.
bitters.
It's no longer
I will-
just bitters.
I will
it's a
tell you
menu
there
item.
are-
chocolate bitters.
There are 4 bitters that I will
the
use on a
bitter
regular
ex-wife
basis.
and
Well played, sir.
The orange one is the only one for me.
I was
orange-
just hoping you'd keep going and ignore that.
Orange, Aztec chocolate, and walnut bitters. I
All right.
use those 3 on walnut plus the original aromatic.
Yeah.
I use
Well,
those.
the original aromatic and then the blood orange.
blood orange is
ones
great.
are always lovely.
So I have some
the
cherry ones.
The
too.
Aztec chocolate and the walnut, dark walnut bitters.
Yep.
I love both of those, and I will use them for different seasonal cocktails.
Okay.
We have part of our cocktail expression lineup that's got the same looking label as those.
Yeah.
We have a smoked cinnamon bitters. And the smoked cinnamon bitters makes an incredible
Smoked
holiday.
cinnamon bitter. Ooh.
It makes an incredible holiday cocktail. If you're
I have
looking
to put
for
some of that in
something
my mulled Christmas wine.
It's
Yeah.
legit. It's for real.
So, yeah, these are not. So this is like the 3rd or 4th one I bought of these, the old fashioned syrup that came with it, just because I enjoyed it so much. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that again, because it's not always out there. It's an occasional, depending on where you're buying.
Well,
your stuff.
you go to Joe.
Yeah.
So Joe and Gio always carry that on their mixer shelf.
Oh, okay.
So I go to
so
Big
always ask
Tony
them.
at Wine Garden.
Oh, I love Big Tony.
Big Tony's
I
a
love Big Tony.
lifelong,
Well,
not a lifelong,
Tony
but
Boxu is one of my
Tony
favorite
B-
human beings on the planet.
Oh,
I love him.
we've
He's
done
like
this
a-
podcast out of the back of his building a couple times.
Tony B's a great guy.
The
I've
magic.
golfed with
backroom.
Tony. We go way back. I'm a St. Clair Shores guy, so I've known Tony forever.
My first, this is we're way off the old Forester bean pen.
It doesn't
But
matter.
my first true activation. So I was
It's all
hired,
about stories.
I was hired by Brown Foreman in January of 2020. So if you can do a little bit of math in your head, a little onboarding, a little education, all of a sudden it's March 2020 and I'm feeling good about myself, ready to go. And March 15th happens, and they shut down the Corktown Irish Parade. And like the next day, Michigan's done.
Screeching halt. Yeah.
So I read a message because I had been organizing the Scotch reintroduction of our Scotch portfolio into the Michigan marketplace, and Tony was one of the first people I'd reached out to. I'm like, hey, Tony, I'd love to sit down and do a tasting, and you and Jack and a few other big names from the off-premise business. I'd love to sit down and talk with you guys and just reintroduce you to our brands. And like, yeah, let's do that. So there's an email exchange out there in the ether somewhere that says, because this started at the end of March. I was like, listen, we're gonna have to postpone for March. Let's reschedule for 90 days out. Either it'll all be over. It'll be in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and we'll all need a drink anyway.
We'll need a drink in my windowless back room, so the zombies don't see us.
I couldn't have been more wrong if I tried.
Oh, good God.
It was neither the end of it nor a zombie apocalypse, but that email is in the ether somewhere that it would either be over, or we'd all need a drink from the zombie apocalypse.
I traveled like in that February, just because we're telling stories.
Yeah.
I flew into Montreal and did a night in Montreal, and they go, "Do you have a fever?" No. Put a little blue dot on my passport. I'm like, okay. Drove to Quebec City, had an amazing time at the there's a winter carnival. Went to the Ice Hotel, did that whole thing in Quebec City. I mean, it's negative 40. Yeah. I mean, it's freezing. We're wearing like super like all this stuff. We're like drinking in an ice hotel. We get back, and 2 weeks later, they shut the world down.
Wow.
And we were like on planes, and all around it, and they're like this. Oh, you don't have a fever? Here's a blue sticker. There's a blue sticker on your passport. I left it there because I think it's funny.
So I was on an education trip. I was at Lynchburg, Tennessee. I was at the Jack Daniel's distillery. We were doing a tour as a company. The marketing agency that I work for was taking all of us, and we were doing education. We were at Old Forester, and we were at the Cooperage, and we were at blah blah. So we happened to be on the Jack Daniel's tour. And we walk in, and we're walking around, and myself and my counterpart is the person who runs all the activities. Is she a promo model out there doing Jack Daniels? This person was the person.
I thought you were the promo model.
Well, listen,
you are a sexy bitch.
I thought you were
have a certain status.
For sure.
But I thought you were the hot piece.
I am not the most requested person to do promos, believe it or not. No, she organizes all of our events and has the girls out there doing the tastings.
Yeah.
So we're on the phone trying to be very cool. We both tugged in our earbuds, and we've got our phones in our pockets. And I understand the cork down Raiders cancel. Jack, the spring well, that's awesome. Yeah, we understand the cork down Raiders cancel. We don't know what you're going to do. Yeah, look at that statue of Jack. Let's take a picture. Okay, well, I guess we could just figure out what to do with all this merchandise. We'll just we'll pile next thing. We'll do next thing. And we get into we're finally through this tour, and we've been on the phone for like 80% of it with our Michigan team, and we're looking at it, and so we're done with the tour. We are literally the last tasting that Jeff Arnett hosted with Jack Daniels. He did a full 9-course tasting with us, all the Jack Daniels, all of the Jack Daniels, all of the things. And so we're literally the last tasting that Jeff Arnett ever does with Jack Daniels on the Jack Daniels on the grounds facility. And we're driving back to our hotel, and our boss calls us and says, "Hey, can you guys get rental cars? Because I'm pretty sure they're going to shut the flights down.
Shut it all down. Yeah.
They're going to shut the airports down.
Yeah.
So call right now, get a rental car. If you make your flight, great. Well, and if they won't reimburse you for the car, we'll pay for it. But make sure you've got a way to get home from Tennessee, because I'm not paying for 7 weeks of a hotel." So that's what we did. I called my counterpart. I said, "Hey,
7 weeks would have been like 2 years at a hotel,
right? It would have had to be forever." So
Room service.
I called my partner. I said, "Hey, listen, I'm on the phone with Hertz. I have priority status because of blah 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 blah, and I'm reserving us a car right now. We've got an SUV. We can make it back to Detroit if our flight gets canceled." She's like, "Great, awesome. Is the pickup at the airport?" I'm like, "Pickup's at the airport. We're gonna meet together, and if we get on our flight, we get on our flight. And if we don't get on our flight, we've got a car." And that was literally, we got back to Detroit, and the governor was on TV an hour later saying she's shutting down the city.
Yeah, wow.
We can hold this 15 minutes for the COVID recovery
right?
edited podcast.
What's your COVID story?
Oh my God. Oh, Bryan, dude, thank you so much.
This has been top notch. And
I'm glad you
it is. So Old Forester is available like 50
everywhere.
50 states worldwide.
There's no place that Old Forester is not available in the country.
Which one of these is like the retail most expensive or the retail hardest to find?
So right now,
right now, we're
so
talking present day
we
supply
live in-
chain Michigan.
We live in a world of supply chain issues, and those supply chain issues have had real world consequences for all of us.
Right.
But
The 1920 is our most expensive bottle. It runs around 65 at state minimum.
At Michigan prices.
Michigan state minimum pricing.
Yeah. What is that? Was
No?
that you?
no, I just got one at like 61.22.
Okay, 61.22.
Nice. It was a little
right
less
around
than that, but
65. So 61.22.
Yep.
Um,
I'm just fucking with you.
No, you're totally fine. The 1897 and the 1870, we have been in and out of stock on back and forth
Right.
for the last month or so, and it's been a glass bottling issue. We run production of one, run production of the other, run production of one, run production of the
So-
Well, and again, party stores only have so much shelf space.
yeah, but
and-
most of I would say.
I mean,
that,
are they going to call 7 expressions of your
Yeah,
thing, or are they going to do
most
2
of them
or
are.
3? Oh, okay.
Most of your, but like Joe,
Yeah. Joe, yeah.
Tony, Jack over at Zatunas.
Jack Zatoon is an amazing dude.
He is fantastic.
He's fantastic. I like
most
Jack.
most of your gooder. That's not
Gooder,
English.
there it
Thank
is.
you. We're not
That's
going to
a
edit
word.
that out. We're
Come
leaving
on.
that right in.
Gooder.
Listen, you got to.
gooder.
I have to own that.
The
Right
gooder.
there.
I have to own that to be better.
The
You are the gooder.
people.
Most of our better,
Your higher quality
or your higher
folks.
end
Yeah.
whiskey establishments are going to carry all 7 of these. Now,
Right.
you may walk into Joe's Bait and Tackle shop in somewhere in mid Michigan, and he may only have 1 or 2 of the. And it'll always be these two. One
Fair
or two
play.
of the
Yep.
one or two of
Those-
the whiskey rose, and then he'll have 86 and
Yep,
100,
yep,
86
yep.
and rye. But but most of the Southeast Michigan people who work in the whiskey business, again, I'm thinking Lath at Superfine. I'm thinking Cal at Novi Party Store. I'm thinking Jonah's.
People that know their
let's,
stuff.
Let's dumb it down. Because I bragged about how this Old Forester 100 Proof Rye that I really enjoy is available at your Kroger and your Meijer.
Yeah.
Like what is available at your local superstore as you're driving around? Just you're grabbing your case of Bud Light and you want a good whiskey.
Now, do you want me to be a complete jerk off about it, or do you want me to be honest?
Total
Because a total jerk is going to say, "Do you shop at a Steward Meijer or a Steward Kroger?" Because that's going to make a difference. Because we do control 85/10 of the floor, and we can sell other things in. And sometimes we've got these, and sometimes we've got
All right.
enough.
what you're
So-
always going to be able to find.
That's what I'm talking about.
Always.
That's what I'm talking about.
85, 100, and rye are almost always going to be available because those are our price point
Camera?
whiskeys.
Yep.
These
So-
are our price point whiskeys. You're
Now-
always going to be able to
You got
find
the camera.
those.
You got it. You got it.
Phil is showing off, saying I can grab the 1920 for $50 here. He's in Kentucky.
Oh, Phil,
Phil?
that's just rude.
You're a brat,
Yeah, that's
and we love you.
That's a
and
little-
but I'm not going to pay the fuel surcharge for you driving that here. So
Right?
Yeah.
At
yeah,
$5 a gallon, the difference is made up in the
to mule that back up
Yeah,
here. Yeah,
yeah.
that's,
At $5 a gallon, the difference is
but
made
the people
up
that
here.
are living in the heartland there, they
That's
got a
okay.
thing. They got
Well,
the people that live in the heartland of Kentucky.
But
they
Phil,
got
I
a
like
thing
the
on.
old fine. I like the 1910 better. So don't worry about that one.
1920 and 1910 have been pretty universally available. in
I don't need
Michigan for a while
115
now.
proof of
Right.
anything personally.
That,
so.
and that's what I'm saying. Those
Yeah.
5 I see regularly. These 2 less frequently.
Well, these two are so the number one of our craft goes back and forth between these two.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at the 1910
And then birthday.
The 1910.
Because you don't have the birthday in bottles around. You can't get that.
So birthday is a limited. Do you guys know what birthday bourbon actually is?
Tell me a little bit about birthday bourbon.
Birthday bourbon is our celebration of George Garvin Brown's birthday.
Right.
We distill it once a year and we bottle it once a year.
Right.
And that bottling date is August 9th of every year, and that distillation date is August 9th of every year. We fill as many barrels as we can, and we bottle as many barrels as we can on
Because
August
people
9th.
want that. Because people want that shit.
And what we
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
the
That's fun too.
Well, and here's the true secret of a birthday bourbon. The first time we made birthday bourbon, the first 5 years that we made birthday bourbon, 2013 through 2000.
Yeah, this wasn't a traditional thing. This is
No.
a more recent thing, last decade.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the first,
let's do this kooky
Let's
thing.
call the first 5 years we made birthday bourbon. We had 8 stacks, 5 stacks, 6 stacks sitting on the floors of party stores that no one was freaking buying.
That was before the craze hit.
That was before the craze.
Before the bourbon boom hits, and all of a
yeah.
sudden people are like, "I'll pay $750 for that bottle." I was like, "Cool, we're charging $140." Well, our price is 140. Our price has kind of always been around 140.
Yeah.
It's our only age statement. It's always over 10 years old. It's always between 12 and 14, except for once when it was 10. By the way, that was the best year. I'm not joking. It was
Okay.
I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
the 2020 peanut butter and banana sandwich, Old Forester birthday bourbon, was by far. Oh, you
called it peanut butter and banana sandwich?
It was. I call it the Elvis Presley. It was a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
So
It was
you got that out of that?
unbelievable.
Really? Okay.
It was. Oh, okay. Listen.
Did you have it?
Papa Hardin.
Did you have it?
Hang on. I got it. I'm turning my mic so I can get closer to you and be more aggressive. Next time we do a podcast together,
Okay.
I actually have a little bit of 2020 left.
All right.
And you and I are going to taste it. I dare you to tell me. I dare you. Just tell me it's not the best.
All right. Well, maybe it wasn't the right time when I drank it.
You might have already been drunk.
I might have already been.
What if
I
you
might
were
have already had another
if you were at the butter
cocktail
run?
before then.
If you were at the butter run, chances
but
I do like this dynamic of us leaning in,
Yeah,
just
it's
carrying the
leaning in.
mics,
It is.
staring into each other's eyes.
Squinting.
It
We're
is.
squinting
Tight
at each
eyes.
other. Tight eyes.
Yeah.
It is.
All right.
So here's
Leaning
the,
back and leaning
Whoa.
forward again.
the butter run saloon, though. The
Oh,
thing
yeah,
about
no.
that,
No,
that's-
but
when you get deep, you
Let's
get
have
deep,
this
but,
burb off.
a burb off. Not a bourbon.
No,
A burb off.
We did a
At Butter
tasting
Run. I'm
up
happy
in-
to do that with you.
in the
Yeah,
upper. we-
I love going back into the catalog of.
Yeah.
I've long said that the 2016 and the 2015 were two of my favorite Old Forester. This is obviously 5-6 years before
Sure.
I actually worked for the company.
Sure.
Those two expressions of Old Forester were always my favorites. There was a 16 and a 14-year-old, and I always thought they were far and away the most enjoyable of just full palate coverage. Front, middle, back, hearty, sweet, spicy. The whole thing, the whole package was incorporated in those bourbons. And I thought they were the best bourbons in the U.S. I think that when Jackie took over, no one's ever said for sure. My instinct is that the female palate really took over in 2020 and 2021, and they just became so much more bold and robust.
Yeah.
And the volume got turned up on specific accent notes.
I
and
bought a
loved it.
Rosie
Women have
the
a deeper palate than men.
I bought
they do, for
a
sure.
Rosie
Weaver
the
have a deeper
Riveter
palate.
small batch
Yeah, yeah.
from Tony
Oh,
of
yeah,
a certain
yeah.
of a
Yeah.
certain competitive
I know what
brand.
you're talking about, yeah,
but it was
for
a
sure.
Rosie the Riveter brand,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was marketed to women.
Yeah.
And I gave it to my brother-in-law. I said, "This is one of the best of this version." I get it.
Yeah,
cool.
no,
Pretty
listen,
good.
we are definitely the inferior gender. It's fine. We are who we are.
I'm comfortable with it.
I live where I live. I'm a father of daughters. It's good.
All right.
But yeah, if you look at birthday bourbon is a unique one-off product. We try to make as much of it as we can. We want everybody to drink our product, but because of the nature of that particular product, and the way that it's produced, for the reason that it's produced, we are confined to that 24-hour window of distillation and bottling and so on and so forth. So when people say, "Oh, you say you're a bourbon of the people, but you never make enough birthday bourbon," well,
It's 24 hours, dude.
if I made birthday bourbon every day for the really
I
still wouldn't have enough birthday bourbon at the end of 12 years.
It's our birthday week. It's our birthday month. If really, because there are people that would go, "Hey, it's our birthday week. It's our birthday month," and they would stretch it to, manipulate that market.
Sure, yeah.
And again, that like how you were honest about things earlier. It's like I freaking love that.
The integrity of the
thank
brand
you.
is
Thank
important.
you. And
Brian,
yes.
what are we toasting out with? We're hitting the
we're-
2-hour mark right
we are
now.
not-
We're hitting the 2-hour mark right now.
I'm sorry, guys.
And
you
hey,
No.
Flip, no, look, I
you
just
invited
looked
a
at my
guy
watch.
who talks for a living. I apologize.
I
I'm going to grab some 1910 because I think
didn't even
that's
feel-
where my palate's at today.
I didn't even feel like that's the one that's your favorite fave.
Yes.
I'll round it out.
Here you
with
go,
guys.
gentlemen. I'll let you guys pull that out.
Yeah,
and,
the old fine 1910
Hit me,
is,
Mick,
is
hit me.
actually the
Hit me.
original, like you said, the original accidental double oak.
the original
Cut me,
accidental
Mick. Cut
double-
me.
Cut me, Mick.
I think you've already been cut. You're
I
bleeding
know.
out right now, buddy.
All
right?
I was not my idea to eat chips. You handed me chips in front of a microphone.
Have any chips because you needed something to eat.
It would have been. It would have been.
I'm not the professional DJ who's been on the microphone for 30 years. You are.
Listen, stones are being thrown is all I heard. Stones are being thrown. So
All I know is, hey,
in the Gaelic, we will say slanchava. So
as a German, I'll say Prost.
Polish boy, Nostrovia.
That's Nostrovia. Cheers, guys.
Slasa.
Cheers.
Brian, thanks for being here with us on the Man Cave Happy Hour.
Happy to be here.
Wrap it up there, Jamie.
That's it. We're done. That was it.
Like and
Cheers.
subscribe, all those stuff and
No,
things.
we ended with cheers, mofo.
All right.
One more time, guys. Cheers.
One more.
Cilantro.
Good night, folks. Thank you.